Hello Magic fans, I'm Beef and welcome back to another standard gameplay video. So when I saw the spoilers and all the information about the new Bloomburrow cards, one of the cards I was most excited to play with was Rottenmouth Viper. I think it is in theory a really powerful card, but none of the decks that I've seen people play and none of the decks that I've wanted to put it in really worked. So what is the Viper? So it's a 6 mana 6/6, but it has an additional cost. To cast a spell, you may sacrifice any number of non-land permanents. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each permanent sacrifice this way. And then when it ETBs or attacks, you put a blight counter on it. And then for each blight counter on it, each opponent loses 4 life unless they sacrifice a non-land permanent or discard a card. So it's very, very powerful. It comes down, it causes your opponent to make that choice. And often it's 4 life, but the next turn you attack, they've got to make that choice twice, and then 3 times and 4 times and so on, at which point they're dead. And the way I've seen it played is get it down as early as possible, create a lot of tokens and a lot of disposable creatures or permanents, and get this down on like turn 3 and hope your opponent can't deal with it. The problem is your opponent often can deal with it. Any black deck can just go for the throat it and it dies, or long goodbye, or devious cover up, deadly cover up. Any there's no protection for it, and at that point you've basically wiped your entire board and then have nothing. So what this deck tries to do is protect it really with counter spells. And potentially copy it with 3 steps ahead. So 3 steps ahead is a spree card from Outlaws of Thunder Junction, and it costs 1 blue, but you can pay another blue and generate a counter target spell, so a 3 mana counter spell, or you can pay 3 to create a token that's a copy of target creature, artifact, and creature you control, or you can pay 2 to draw 2 and then discard a card. The modes we really want to do is the counter target spell and create a copy. So ideally, we play our Rottenmouth Viper, we have a counter spell up, and then we can counter spell and then copy it, or maybe just copy it, because what's really good is you play this, it gets that counter, they've got to make a choice. Turn 2, the next turn you attack with it, it's up to 2, and at the end of their turn you copy it, so the next turn you attack with 2 6/6s, and they've got to make the choice 5 times, at which point they're probably dead. But we still want to get it down early, or we want the game to go long so we can do everything hopefully in one turn. So to help with that, we've got a lot of 1-drops that create things. Spyglass Siren creates a map token, so that's 2 things that can be sacrificed. Candy Trail, we scry so we can get through our deck a bit, and then we can sacrifice it to gain 3 life and draw a card. So this is a great way to just get some life gain and card draw. Greedy Freebooter only comes down with 1 body, but when it dies, you scry 1 and create a treasure, which is really good because we can sacrifice the Freebooter to the Viper, get a treasure, and maybe use that treasure to keep up a 3 steps ahead. The Deuce draws a card and investigates, so it adds a permanent for the Viper. We've got a couple of Deep Cavern Bats because it's such a good card, and also that lifelink can be really helpful. Go for the Throat is one of our removal of choices. Then we've got 2 copies of Preacher of a Schism, which again, this is just a great card. It's not something you probably want to sacrifice to the Viper, but a 3 mana 2/4 with Death Touch, which has a load of upside, is a great blocker or attacker, and it can get those extra card draws and 1/1 vampires with lifelink. 2 copies of Shouldred because it is so powerful, and then 4 copies of Virtual Persistent for additional removal and life gain. But also if a game does go long, we can play the Virtue and then maybe bring back some of our Vipers or our Shouldreds. So that's the that's the deck. Mana base is pretty standard. We've got a couple of Dark Slick Shores, 4 Restless Reefs as a alternate win condition, about smacking for 4. A couple of Underground Rivers, then a Cavern of Souls, just in case we're up against blue deck. Then 2 Fountain Ports and Sunken Citadels. So you'll see these a lot in standard because Sunken Citadel taps for 2 mana to activate abilities of lands. So it is a great way to get some additional card draw or tokens or treasures from the fountain pool. And obviously if we create a treasure or a blue fish as an additional blocker, it's something else we can sacrifice to the Viper. So essentially the dream draw of this deck is maybe turn 1 Siren, turn 2 Freebooter and Candy Trail maybe. Turn 3 we deduce something, and then in turn 4 we might be able to get down a cheap Viper, get some treasure back from greedy Freebooter to keep up counterspell or copy it the next turn. Yeah, so this is the deck. It does work sometimes. I'm still fiddling with it really a bit. It's not, it's not a great win rate deck as you can imagine, but as I said, getting 2 6/6 Vipers, one basically flashed in because it's copied with 3 steps ahead, and suddenly your opponent's got to make 5 choices about what to sacrifice or what to discard or take for life. And you'll be surprised how many people don't block the Viper. I've attacked with a 6/6, they've taken 4, then they've taken or 4 or 8, or they've sacrificed a token, then they take 6. And I've even had one game where you'll see in the gameplay where they had 2 Squirrels Hive, they were left at 4, that put them down to 2, and they had a Shouldered on the battlefield. So that just killed them, which I don't think they're very happy about. But it's a very fun deck when it works. Hope you'll enjoy it. If you do, please remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in my gameplay. We are on the play with a pretty good opening hand. Some card draw, some interaction, and then obviously creates lots of tokens. So like some obviously additional removal. Give the Freebooter, it can act as a blocker. Well, I imagine this dies straight away, but well, seeing as I haven't done anything, I'm just going to keep up to deuce. Oh, Feldon. Not seen Feldon in a while. Quite like a cut down. That'll do instead. Play out the Freebooter. And then we'll just hold up, go for the throat. Get rid of a challenger, not a fan of it. Well, let's deep cavern that. I imagine they have removal, but they didn't have any land. Yep, they have all removal. So it doesn't really matter what we take. I suppose let's make them use it. I'm concerned because Obliterating Bolt plus Shock can kill our Viper if we draw it. Well, let's Candy Drill and Scry, so we know what we're going to draw with Deduce, or we have a better idea. We'll keep Go for the Throat because we can deduce into that. And it means they might use their removal on Shouldered next turn. Or they might just use it now. I probably should have... Well, let's play out Shouldered. We'll get him with a freebooter. Obviously, we know they have Obliterating Bolt. Which is only creatures and planeswalkers. Well, I think we start drawing. And gaining life. Obviously, with Shouldered, we're going to gain life every time we draw as well. Well, didn't see the Viper, but we managed to get through their early onslaught, and yeah, I think we were just going to take over there. We could have drawn a lot more cards as well until we found the Viper, and then, you know, just I don't think they'll be able to deal with it. We're on the draw with, well, a pretty slow hand, but we can scry with Candy Trail. I think we get the Siren for now. We could get down a turn 3 Viper, assuming our Siren survives, but I don't think that's really necessary for now. As I would like to get down the Viper and keep up 3 steps ahead or negate. I'm going to draw, probably putting back the Miasma. And 2 Founding Ports. So next turn we can get down the Viper and maybe keep up negate. If I imagine they've probably got a decent amount of removal. One, two, three, four, five. So if they have removal, which I imagine they do, we can keep up negate. Now I imagine they have more than one. Well, I'm going to sack the Canny Trail, draw a card. And swing in. Now we do have another counter spell. So what we really like to do is copy our Viper. Which we need 6 for, so we need one more land. Whoa, and that's it. Yeah, we didn't get to see his copy of the Viper, but we would have hit in for another 6 there. 3 triggers, so they would have to discard all their hand, or 2 of their cards, and their Hostile Investigator, or take 4, 8 or 12, which if they took 12 and took 6 from ours would have been lethal. So a pretty good game there. On the draw of a pretty good hand. We need more things to sacrifice for the Viper, but hopefully more lands. We can start churning out tokens with the Fountain Port. We do need another blue mana for 3 steps ahead. Still need another blue mana. So we can get down the Viper. The question is, can they remove it? Probably not. So I think we go for it. And next turn we draw a land. Well, next turn we can copy the Viper. And if we draw a land, we can Vraska and yeah, I'm not going to block that. So we take 6. So we don't draw the land, but we can copy the Viper, maybe for a surprise block. That would have been something good to counter, but they've got to discard or cancel or sacrifice, sorry. Otherwise they are dead. I think I just do this now. Yeah. They would have had to sacrifice 2 things, and you know, if they sacrifice the Heartfire Hero and the Manifold Mouse, they then would have had to chump with Mabel, and if they didn't chump, they were dead anyway. So that last 3 steps ahead, even though we didn't have a second blue to counter anything, swung it in our favour. Well, we're on the play with a pretty bad hand. This is better. I think I put back the Siren. Well, let's hope we're against an aggro deck. We are. Then we hold up, cut down, hope they play out some more stuff. We're going to do that. And then we'll do this. It's fine for now. Fortunately, they are going to have two creatures from their crawling chorus. But next turn we can get down our Viper. And hope it survives. Our other Chucking Miasma would be really good. Obviously, they have a lot of things to sacrifice. But they take 4. But I think we are in trouble. Choking Miasma would be fantastic. Why didn't they give one of their other one? Right, let's get down shouldered. But I can see us getting poisoned out. Obviously, you're going to gain a lot back. But they're also just dead, so that was silly of them. And has that caused a scoop? Well, not a scoop, salty rage. It looks like it might have done. Obviously, math is not Liz Lizzaloy's strong suit. All they had to do was chump with one of their tokens. All they had to do was last turn as well, use their seed core to pump up their... because you can only pump 1/1 creatures. So they should have used that before attacking, because Slaughter Stinger buffs their toxic creatures. And that's why they couldn't use it. It's a bit of a nombo between the seed core and Slaughter Stinger. But yeah, there's many ways they could have not died. They just didn't do them. There we go. Got there in the end. On the draw, Miasma can be good if it is mono red. but it is not. It is lifelink. So again, Choking Meow's going to be pretty good against it. If a player Zoraline, we can go for the throw tip. We'll do that now. Because they would have gained life, which would have buffed it. They would have put Ruin attack with a Ruin Lurker back, which would have buffed it as well. Right, let's get in for our 1 point of damage. And we'll just wipe the board. Get our treasure. Sure. Next turn we can start churning out tokens. He didn't have much choice there. Let's see what we hit. Counter has a right, we can scry more. May as well use our negates when we can. I'll keep the reef, but I'm going to bottom the swamp. And I'm just going to immediately do this just so we can get it down. If we draw our snake, we can cast it. But for now, I think we can just start hitting in with the reef. There is a slight graveyard theme with Zoraline. But we only have one black, so we're not going to be able to do it at the moment. Zoraline costs a black, and you need to play a black and a white and 2 life. Oh, they're going to be able to... It's only 3 or less, so they can't get Actazot's back. Would really like our snake. Oh, they might get an Essence Challenger. Yeah, we're in... I'm going to keep the reef back. We're in trouble. if they can't lose life, the Channeler attacks on the ground and the Reef can block it and it's got Death Touch. But they should be smart. They are not smart. But I think that's game over for us anyway. We're on the play. This is an okay hand. So you need more early ways to create tokens and things to sacrifice to the Viper. Such as that. Yeah, I'm okay with those. I think we just take out the bunny corn before it starts getting too big. So we can play the Viper next turn. We can't keep up 3 steps ahead. But red white probably don't have many ways to deal with a 6/6. So we'll swing in with the Siren. And then we will sack everything. Sure. And next turn we can... Oh, we can't copy... Well, we can copy the Viper. So I hope they don't have Get Lost or 2 lightning strikes. Get Lost will be more likely. The fact that they've passed, I guess they don't. I think we put this on black. So we can copy the Viper. But we'll see what they do. They pitch a recruiter. So yeah, they probably got another one. Surprising how many people don't jump a Viper. They don't attack. This is where they have to discard a lot. Well, when we attack. Let's just swing in. They have to discard or sack up to 5 things, and they have 4 things on the battlefield and, yeah, 1 thing in hand. So they weren't going to be able to get out of that, basically. On the draw, but with a okay hand. Obviously, you have to see what they are. Well, there's the Viper. Are they going to make a sacrifice our freebooter? Or discard? It's a 1-1.
Haven't you ever heard of personal space?
We'll shoulder it next turn. Hopefully they well, let's deduce. We will
You won't be outsmarting me.
get rid of a swamp. If I don't name Bat, they could have Deep Cavern Bat. Even though it's probably more likely they've got an Aclazots. Hopefully they tick down with Liliana. Yeah. But they're going to be able to tick down again. Tick up Liliana.
I'm tired of your secrets.
I think we're going to have to draw. We're hoping next turn we can attack down the Lily with the Reef.
We all have things we want to forget.
Although I expect them to have removal. maybe they have another Liliana.
Sorry, I'm not interested in dying today.
Well, let's get down a Viper. They take the 4. See, when they attack, we're going to discard second Viper, which is annoying. Did they draw removal? That's irritating. And that is not what we wanted to draw. They're going to take a chunk. But they're going to be getting it back with Actazot. I mean, that is not what we wanted to see. But obviously we do have another one. It's a shame that we just seem to be drawing cards that we don't need. Well, everything they've got has Death Touch. Well, not everything, but Shouldered, Preacher, Glisser. We're on the draw. Play with... Okay, we need more lands. And in fact, cards that do a thing. We'll just take out the hero now. Means it doesn't do any damage. And next turn we can hold up. Go for the throw. Hope let's go all in on it. It means they will draw a card, but I'm hoping they buff it even more. Get down the Preacher. Joke's on you. I have another one. I think that is not the most efficient use. Let's just get down shouldered. Swing in for one. We can take that out with the go for the throat. Oh, we're about to take 6. Let's see what the top 2. Sure. So if they drew another creature, they did. Well, we only need to sack one thing, so we'll sack the map. Yeah. We didn't quite have lethal, but I had obviously having a 6/6 as a blocker, and I was being at how much? Back it up at 20. Hello, Magic fans, and welcome back to the wrap up. So no win rate look at for this deck, because this kind of deck is not all about win rate. It's just all about having fun and trying something a bit different. So to see from the gameplay, when it works, it does work, and it is a great feeling of, you know, copying your Viper, especially if it can act as a chump, as a blocker as well. I think you could build this kind of deck a lot more successfully by maybe dropping down a couple of Vipers, putting in more Preachers or Shouldreds, because one of the problems with this deck is it goes, longer it goes, it's actually a bit worse. There's a sweet spot of maybe like turn 4 or 5 you need to get down. If it carries it going on longer, you risk running out of steam. But maybe more early drops, you know, because your Spyglass Eye and your freebooters aren't going to do a lot, but they're there to be sacrificed, basically. And we do have card draw with Deduce and 3 Steps Ahead and Preacher to maybe get through our deck. So maybe if I did it again, I'd drop down 1 or 2 Vipers, put in 2 more Preachers for those blockers and card draw. In some of the games, you would have seen me have Negate, and as well as 3 Steps Ahead, the idea was, if we got down a Viper, we just needed 2 mana up to counter a removal spell. But there were games where I was just drawing too many counter spells, and against, and it's always the way, you draw a handful of counter spells against aggro, and then you draw a handful removal against control decks. It always seems to happen. Also had a Vraska in there, because the idea was, if you get down Vraska and your Rottenmouth Viper, you could just use Vraska's 0 loyalty ability to proliferate, add more of those blight counters to the Viper, and then just get in that way. But it didn't quite work out. You know, we only want one top of a curve. So I think that if I was going to do it differently, that's what I'll do. Drop down the Viper, a couple more Preachers for blockers and a card draw, and then go from there. I do want to play a similar deck in green-black. Try out the old Smug to Surprise with Rottenmouth Viper, which I think will be quite powerful because it's just bonkers. And I don't think that'll be too different to when we were Smug to Surprising out Bonnie Pals or Vaultborn Tyrant. So we'll have to see how it works. But I had a great time playing it. It is fun when it works. As I said, just always seem to be against the wrong matchup. A lot of removals against control and a lot of counter spells against aggro, which is a shame. But I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, please remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in my next video.